Welcome back to another Creative Evolution with me, Tammy Collins. Today, I thought I'd do something a little bit different and be a little bit vulnerable and share some of my older journals and the progression and evolution of work in them, because that's really what this channel is all about. I am not here to say that your art or your creative expression is to be done a particular way or not a particular way. I am just here to show you what a creative practice could look like and give you inspiration and help you uncover your creativity. That's really it. Things are perfectly imperfect around here, and you have to start somewhere. And when you start, those things may not be great, but it's an experiment. You're, um, playing with things, and you're seeking to evolve your creativity. Okay, so that's enough about that. So this is a just a basic mixed media. It's 60 sheets. It's 110-pound paper. It's Master's Touch, which is the Hobby Lobby brand of paper. And I don't know. This is just a progression of playing around. Um, I really don't know what this piece is or what it was called, but I was just sort of playing around with the concept of mark making and doodling, really. This piece is a little bit of mixed media. We have some brown bag paper, and we have some, these are actually printed out copies of some out of copyright illustrations. And then I doodled on top of them and colored them a little bit more. And then there's some stencil work and different markers and gel pens and things of that nature in here. These are just sort of like a Zentangle, if you will, just a random, mindful, uh, meditative doodle, which I love to do. This one I'm experimenting with. One of the things I want to do is tribal design. And so I was experimenting with a tribal design. I drew this by hand, and this is just a Zentangle doodle around it. And this is just a doodle in color. I love this color palette. I love to do these types of doodles to play around with color patterns that I like. And so you'll see here now I really like this color palette, so I'll do another one. Again, just a doodle, just experimenting and playing around. One of the reasons I really love to do doodling is because I suffer, and I think a lot of other new artists especially struggle with like what to do. Um, oh, it has to be a perfect piece of art. I don't know, and like subconsciously you're thinking it has to be a masterpiece, not in theory, but you know, in your mindset, that's what you're thinking. You may not realize that's what you're thinking, but that's what took me a long time to realize that that's what I was doing. So once I learned that that's what I was doing and said, well, I'm just going to play around, I'm just going to do some doodling because I was just trying to loosen up my creativity. And this whole process, and the reason I'm sharing these videos is because I discovered that just creating the creative time and playing around with whatever it is that interests you. In my case, it was doodling, Zentangle, markers, that kind of thing, got me it got me excited again about creating, and it really helped me to remove that mental barrier about creating a perfect piece of, art. So this is mixed media. This is music notes, some marker, doodle, Zentangle, the I should probably write on the back what the materials were. I write the dates on the back so you can kind of see, like, a lot of times I'll do two in one day. Uh, really love this. I love this color palette a lot. You can really see that I just really love this color palette. I actually really love this doodle as well. This is a new color palette that I liked. Um, so I played with it here, but I took the pink out, and I liked it even more. And I'm just playing with some shadowing, basic shapes. You know, it's just an exercise. Just playing with the color palette. It's another doodle, you know, same color palette. Another doodle. I absolutely love this color palette. This really is an interesting, different approach. Instead of doing the traditional where I was always sort of putting black in the background, I changed it to, in this case, it's an orange color. And I really loved how that came out with this color palette. This is mixed media. I'm playing with, there's book paper, there's stencil with texture medium, and then I'm sort of doodling on top of that, doing some mark making. I'm just sort of combining and playing around. This I absolutely love. Again, playing with book paper, music note, you know, book paper. These are both from a book. This is a textured, it's a stencil that I used modeling paste with to create the texture. And it feels a little bit like maybe like a cheetah spots. And then I also have tissue paper on here, and I have doodling. So I really mixed up a whole bunch of different things here, and I really love this experiment a lot. Another color palette, again, trying a different background, and I really like that. Love this color palette too. This is another mixed media piece with tissue paper and a stencil that replicates reptile or snake skin. So this is very textural, which you may not be able to see in the video. And just playing with a color palette here. This one I started, it's a doodle, but first that I put tissue paper down, and the tissue paper had glitter in it first. So it created an interesting element. I don't know if you can see those glitter pieces reflecting in the light. This is a stencil, again, with modeling paste and just sort of playing around with that. Added some shadowing and some doodling. Really love the simplicity, repetitive nature of this, and I really adore this color palette. Mixed media piece, tissue paper, some watercolor, and some doodling on top of that. There's some iridescent quality to this. Can't quite, I don't know if you can see it. Another doodle, playing with color palette. Started with a different color in the background instead of a black or a white. This was an experiment that kind of went awry. I'd have to play around with this some more. It was just a different idea that I was toying with. Another experiment with doodling. And another. And so this was an experiment that I wanted to try where I just put the watercolor down first and then doodled the watercolor. Just another doodle. Most of these are done with Tombow and Posca and Prismacolor markers. I have a set of Prismacolor markers from my interior designer days that most of them are still really, really good. You know, everything's just kind of an experiment. That's the point of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to say, "Oh, I have this idea. I'd love to try, I don't know, this kind of medium, and I'd love to do that with it." Just go try it and see what happens. You like it or you don't like it. You take something from it, you learn a lesson, you apply it again to something new, and try again with something different. And so I'm just sharing this because I feel like this was really pivotal in removing some boundaries for me and helping me to sort of unlock and get moving, if you will. This is watercolor. And again, I'm toying with the idea of doodling based on the watercolor. This is watercolor with Doodle. There's some swatching. We got to always be swatching. And so that's this journal. This journal really began to help me get moving, and I thought I would share it with you. Okay, so now I also want to share with you this little gem. This was my first attempt at a concertina notebook, and I thought I was going to be tricky and add in this ribbon, which at the time was a great idea, but I also needed to add it on the other side. So I did mess that up, but that's okay. It was trial and error. And then I made this other one here that I did put the strings on both sides. And this is just prepped and ready to go. But anyway, I did, let's see. This was just an experiment. I wanted to try my hand at this. This is just some paper that I had laying around. And this is actually just cardboard from a box. And I just covered it with some paper and wanted to give it a go. So if you don't know, a concertina notebook, it actually sort of unfolds, if you will. And it's a really neat way to use paper and give you a lot more space. So I graduated from the larger spiral bound journal to this concept because I love paper and I love making things. So I wanted to do this book. And so then I said, well, what am I going to do with it? So I started playing a little bit more with the doodling and playing with a color palette in this book. So I did everything on this side in the same color palette. So I thought that was kind of a neat way to go about it. So this paper is a smooth paper and it takes the marker a little bit differently. And I started playing with, which you'll see on the other side, I started playing with adding water to these markers, which I fell in love with that idea. So you'll see that soon. So these are just doodles. The concept was to stay within the same color palette and experiment and see what I came up with. Some of these I really love. And some of them I don't love so much. I need a better way to put this ribbon in here. Again, it was an afterthought. I just sort of did it spur of the moment. Okay, so now the nice part about the concertina notebook is you can flip it over and then you have another side of drawings. So this side I did a different color palette. So this actually is a whole piece there. And so here is where I started playing with adding water to the markers. And what I discovered was that these are water-based markers, which I knew, but I was curious what would happen if I added water to them, and they began to function much like a watercolor. And that was really interesting and fun to play with. So I began playing with that concept. So I did that here, and I did that here, and I really loved that, and I've been running with that idea now quite a bit, and that's a perfect example of what playing with things does, because you get an idea, you try it, you like it or you don't like it, and it evolves. But these are really cool. I really love these. There's a couple different ways that you can make them. Um, we'll do a video on that soon, and I'll share my favorite parts about it and what I like and what works the best and what doesn't. I also want to share this. I've been experimenting with creating some books and having some pockets in them. This particular one is all done. So these are envelopes made from scrapbooking paper that I made the envelopes, and then I've stitched them into here. And so I'm just learning about this process, but this was something I really wanted to try. This is a heavier cardstock, and this is probably the best way to go for this type of a book. And experimented with making a pocket here with some washi tape. This washi tape probably isn't the best for this, but it has a little pocket here. It's not the best, this is the type of thing that takes some practice. But for my first attempt, I thought it was pretty good. I'm not 100% sure what I will do with this yet. It has some flaws, but I like it. I would do it again. This is made from a box, and I just used the existing side of the box. I believe it's a Belvita box. Here's a couple little more attempts at that same concept of a stitched book with some signatures in it. This one is, oh, it was upside down. Okay, so this one is made from a Banza pasta box, and it already has this clear patch in it. So I just put something in there and a sticker in there. So it actually worked out kind of nice. Kept the side of the box the same. I did only put 2 signatures in this one because my intent is to put all kinds of things on these pages so it will get thick and build up. And they're just, I just put some random pages in here. This one didn't get turned sideways, but that's okay. I'm keeping it in here because I may glue it in. There's nothing really special about this. This is just me attempting to try this process. I used some leftover scraps of paper that I had. But same thing. I think I just stuck these in here so that I can use them. Oh, yes, I did, because they're from the Black Beauty book. Yes. I bought a Black Beauty edition, a really, really super old one that's literally falling apart. And I wanted these pages in here. That's why. Okay. So there's just some paper, some different sizes and that sort of thing. This I thought I could just use this sort of like a, when I'm working on, I can clip down the pages from, flipping up or anything like that. But that's it. I mean, it's just a box. I cut it to the size I desired. I covered it with paper. I'm getting better at how to cover that best with paper. I found a few little techniques that really make a nice, smooth, beautiful cover. But it's all experimenting, putting the inside cover in, creating the signatures, sewing them in. This one's came out better than the other one. And for me, this is all about learning how to make these holes the best way. So that's been a process. And then this one I attempted to cover it with paper. I don't know, it has an interesting look. I did cover this one with Mod Podge. So this is a smaller one. It has 4 signatures in it. It's similar in concept and papers. I added some different papers. These are not super high quality scrapbooking paper. These are thinner. They have, a white background, which makes them great for this. So you can get an idea of what's going on in here. Some of these are a better quality. Some of these are really nice. This is really nice, heavy paper. And it's a great way to use up some scraps. Really is. Now that we're here in the studio, I'm going to create a bin specifically for reusing of scraps. I didn't tie these in a bow yet because I wasn't sure if I wanted to put some charms or whatever on there. And so I don't know what I'm going to do with this book yet, but oh, I did create a little couple doodles in here, but oh, this is the cover here. I was wondering why it was backwards. Creativity takes courage. This little sticker. These are just little washi tapes. I did a few doodles in here. But yeah, lots of fun if you really liked to sort of play, get your hands in. This is a great way to experiment with your creativity because there's no, it's just a process that you follow, and you just select the pages that you want in there. So that's a really fun way to get your creative juices flowing. But I just thought I would take a little video today and do a little bit of sharing. It's very vulnerable to share as I'm learning, and as this is also one of those boundary pieces that, we get hung up on, what people will think of our work. And, it can be really devastating. And it doesn't matter if there's a million people that tell you like it. They like it. If someone tells you they don't like it, it feels like it's a million people telling you that, right? Because it's a very vulnerable thing to share your work. And that's something that I've had to really learn to get over. And I think that having a creative process like this really helps you to overcome that and build a little bit of resiliency and a little bit of thick skin to be able to handle the thoughts and words that come at you, and that kind of thing. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. I love having you here. I love when I resonate with someone. Not everyone will resonate with me, and that's okay. I'm here for those that do resonate with me and are inspired by what I do. That's the point. If you have anything you'd like to share about these journals or the work or anything of that nature, I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications. If you want to get more in contact with me, I'm going to be doing a lot of freebies, like some unique coloring pages and color swatch kits and things of that nature. Be sure to fill out the Your Creativity Matters link in the description box. Thanks for watching another Creative Evolution. Be sure to check out the other flip through video here.